So I'm still not quite over the fact that in the last chapter, Fujimoto basically structured an entire chapter around a Maximum the Hormone song. And I love all of the edits that people put out about it and kind of matching up the panels to the song and everything. And I can just imagine when this gets animated someday that that's going to be an instant classic and something that's probably going to be shared around forever if the Chainsaw Man anime can get to that portion. But we are here on Chainsaw Man Tuesday with the follow-up chapter to this, and there's actually a lot of information and a lot of kind of exposition going on in this chapter. I think Fujimoto is pretty good at that too, where he has like an action-centric chapter and then he transitions into an exposition, and when you read them 2 weeks apart, it can seem very, very different. Like, this chapter is extremely different from the last chapter, but if you put them both together, it works very well as like a one continuous scene, right? So, we actually get the name drop of this girl, Fumiko Mafune, and she is not here to attack Denji, and the people that attack Denji in the karaoke club are not with her at all. In fact, she's supposed to be here to protect him, but, she's not quite the best at that. So it turns out that Yoshida didn't just pimp out this girl in order to keep Denji entertained or distracted, but also hired her in order to be a bodyguard for him when he gets attacked, and probably to keep tabs on him to make sure he doesn't transform into Chainsaw Man. All of these things. She's kind of here. She really is kind of like a manipulative force. She's not like on the level of Makima or anything, but definitely like keeping Denji distracted with a girl that is, very attractive, that kind of looks like Asa, that Denji was already crushing on, that is doing activities with Denji, that is getting Denji to kind of feel things a little bit, saying that she really likes him and stuff. And Denji even stands up for himself a bit in this chapter, and he says like, no, you're just doing this because you were told. And she's like, no, I really do think you're awesome. It's just all just these mind tricks and mind tactics that are constantly being pushed on Denji every single time. No matter what this man does in his life, he always has other people trying to control him and manipulate him in a variety of different ways. But I guess the least of which you could say that this Fumiko girl is revealed to be 22. So I guess you don't have to feel bad about simping if you were doing that. I know I wasn't. But there still isn't really a good explanation about who these guys were that attacked Denji in the karaoke club. Yoshida just mentions an offhanded line saying, well, you are Chainsaw Man. Getting attacked by someone who knows your identity comes with the territory. But then he says no possessions we can use to identify them. So we don't really know who they were sent by. They were obviously, again, being controlled by somebody or some kind of devil, or kind of following through with a command of some sort, but we don't really know who or why or what the reason was. They do appear to be all human, so they were humans that were told to do a task, probably not by their own volition, not by their own, kind of autonomy deciding to do it, probably following the command of something or doing it for a reason, like some sort of benefit on the back end. But it's not really explained where they came from or what they were doing this for, but this is here, and this girl is now supposed to be Denji's bodyguard. She just didn't want to help Denji during the fight because she can't stand to be interrupted during her song. So there wasn't anything, malicious about it. She's just saying, hey, listen, you're on your own until I finish this song. Thank God she didn't sing something that was like 8 minutes long. Imagine Stairway to Heaven or something, and she's just going to be stuck in the karaoke bar for like 3 chapters while Denji fends for himself. You'd think Yoshida could, like, try to find somebody a little bit better, but he probably tried to find, like, the most attractive, like, femme fatale chick that he had in his arsenal. His arsenal? Like, what does he have? What kind of resources does this man actually have? Yoshida, dude, the dude is, like... Like, what is this guy? The chapter also gives us 2 other big pieces of information. One great thing is that it finally cuts back to Asa, who we haven't seen in a while, who now her devil hunting exploits are now public knowledge, and people see her on the TV, and there's posters of her, and now she's getting this kind of fame and admiration, which I think is an interesting direction because she speaks with Yoru a little bit, as this is going on, saying she doesn't like it, that it's an invasion of her privacy and all this stuff. But then Fujimoto draws this really kind of strange panel of her smirking or smiling, and it's an odd looking panel, but what I think is happening in this scene is that, we got to remember that Asa was always an outcast. She was always somebody that was kind of ostracized by her classmates. She was kind of picked on, bullied to a degree. She accidentally killed the greatest Chainsaw Man character of all time, Bucky. Rest in peace. I miss that fucking chicken. And everybody looked at her a particular way. She only really had one friend who then she had to fight and, defeat, that turned into a devil. So, she's a person that's never really had this kind of reception towards her, right? So this is her first experience, I guess you could say, with fame, but also with this idea of admiration, with this idea of people kind of thinking that she's cool and awesome and looking up to her and having all these ideas about her that they never would have had before because they never would have even looked her way. So I think it's an interesting dynamic to put Asa in that position because of course, at first, because she's never had anything like that, she's going to feel, some type of way about it. She's going to feel a little bit insecure about it, but she probably can't help herself from enjoying at least a little bit the attention that she's getting from everybody because she's never really had it before. So how is that going to play into her character moving forward? Like, is she going to kind of like fully succumb to it, or is she going to get like way too embarrassed and insecure and not want to be in the limelight, or is this going to kind of shift her a little bit, to kind of like having that exposure, bringing something out of her that maybe is more in tune with like the War Devil, maybe them kind of coming together. This is a little bit of the catalyst for that. Like, I don't really know, but I don't know. It's just one panel, but I did kind of feel a sense of like, maybe there is something I kind of enjoy about this. Like, your first reaction is like, no, I don't want this. But then, as you just see everyone kind of praising you, you're like, well, kind of gives you that ego boost, right? And so you're kind of like, oh, okay, maybe this is something that I want deep down. And the last piece of this chapter, I was immediately confused about to begin with. I'm not going to lie to you guys. So Denji is looking at this poster of Asa and everything that's going on with her. And this guy in a hoodie starts talking to him. And he talks to him as if he knows him. And then when he reveals himself, he's like, let's just say I'm the sword man. And I love Denji's reaction because Denji's first reaction to this is, who the hell are you? Like, he does not remember. He does not know this dude. He does not remember him. And I was like, thank God, because I didn't recognize him at all. I'm like, what, sword man? Because like my first thought was the katana fight, right? The guy with the giant katana like coming out of his face that fought Aki and all those characters in like the very beginning of part one, or like, a third of the way into it, or whenever it was. So that was my first thought, but I'm like, that's 100% not this character. I was like, I knew that wasn't him, but that was my first thought. Like, okay, sword devil, what? Then I had to like go to the Chainsaw Man wiki because I couldn't remember. I'm being 100% honest with you guys. I couldn't remember who this character was. But then it was the hybrid. All right, the group of hybrids that Makima sent out against Chainsaw Man, he was one of them. So he falls into that category. So he is still alive. He's still out there. And now it looks like he has complete control over himself. So no longer under the thralls of Makima. So that means, very importantly, moving forward, that the hybrids that she had under her control are now all out there. They all are, well, probably, I don't know if they're all confirmed to be alive. But we have this now. We have this precedent. We have this thing that we might see again. But as to what that means or how important that's going to be, I don't know, because obviously there's there's the other great waifu, Rezi, who is out there, as well as some of the others, and I believe that the Katana Man is also a hybrid too. So are they still all out there, right? Are they out there in the world somewhere just kind of waiting for whatever apocalyptic event is on the way? I don't know. So interesting things are happening here in this chapter. I think Denji has his guard up now more than he's ever had before when it comes to a woman. So I think that even though he is kind of I mean, I know he did like suck on a tentacle in the last chapter, but I feel like he's at least advancing a little bit. Like, I feel like he's a little bit further along than he was before. Like, he understands what's going on. Like, it's kind of like, like an alcoholic, right? Like, you get to a point where, like, the alcohol is bad for you, but sometimes you just give in, right? I think that's where Denji is right now with his simping levels. Like, he knows that this is only going to lead to disaster, but sometimes, he's just like, all right, whatever. I'll just go along with it. I'm not saying that's good, but, it's progress, right? So, yeah, I'm interested to see where it goes. I'm interested to see how Asa responds to this, and now we're opening this new door to the hybrid situation. So I don't know, man. So there's a lot going on in this chapter, a lot of exposition. I know some people might, think this chapter is slow, but I think it's probably pretty important moving forward, basically upon these like three big things, like Denji and the bodyguard, Asa's reaction, the hybrid reveal. I think that all those things are going to come into play moving forward and are going to be probably pretty important. And also, like I said, if you read this back to back with the last chapter, you get a good mix of everything. So I think that basically what I'm trying to say is I think Fujimoto's cooking right now, and we got to see what he comes up with. Anyways, guys, let me know what you thought of this down below. Leave all your thoughts, theories, ideas, and opinions. Where do you see the story going from here? Let me know what you guys thought. Other than that, guys, if you want to support the channel on a deeper level, obviously liking, commenting, interaction on the video helps, and links in the description for Patreon, channel memberships, merch store, all that fun junk. Other than that, guys, I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day, and I'll talk to you next time.